Hello everybody, and welcome back to some more Rising Phoenix League Racing. So today we are at the Circuit de Spa de Francorchamps in Stavelo, Belgium, and hopefully it's going to be a good race. So the drivers will be getting ready to go in just a moment, so let's just wait until then. And as always, if you want me to do something different or want to tell me of anything happening in your race or someone else's race that I might miss, just be sure to put it in the chat. I'll be looking at it very frequently over the course of the day today. But yeah, it is round 12 of season 2, and yeah. Oh yeah, I've also Cobalt says drink a lot of water. Yeah. Oh, turn this down. I have my water right next to me, so I'm gonna be sipping on this over the course of the day. Still not sure if the stream is sponsored by the water, but the stream contains water, water drinking, so that's good enough, I guess. I'll save all the sponsorships for Hyper, for him to do. But yep, everyone starting to ready up now, so we should get going pretty shortly. I did not say coronavirus, no. Uh, Might have just been you, yeah. I don't recall saying that. Maybe I spoke too fast. Alright, so it looks to be a cloudy qualifying. There might be rain later on in the session, so we'll see if everyone rushes out to get a lap in right at the beginning. If so, then most likely that is the case, that it is going to rain later on. Alright, first driver out is, let's see, Cobalt. So let's go on board for his flying lap. Ooh, as T1 has already DNF'd, coming up Rouge slash Redion. Um, Probably just lost it and hit the wall. It's very easy to do, especially on cold tires. Probably just coming out of the pits. Alright, so here goes Cobalt on his lap. So currently we have the majority of drivers on the softs, with T Funky on the mediums, and both of the Hasses on the hards. Ooh, I believe Cobalt just invalidated his time there, so he's gonna have to go again to get a time on the board. And the first lap is set by T Funky, a 1:45.7 on the mediums, and a 1:45.9 by Parallax on the hards. So very close, despite surprisingly close considering the tire difference. As TJ goes purple in the first sector. Ooh, but then loses it and hits the inside barrier. Ooh, as Hyper has retired from the session. And I believe it's also affected Jason as well, who is coasting backwards on the apex of the corner. So whoever's coming up the hill has to look out. Ooh, that could have been bad. But yeah, we're not really sure what's happened there, but it's left both drivers in a very bad position. Hyper out, and Jason with no front wing. So I believe Colin on our lap now is going to... He's trying to get around Bazooka Joe, trying to make a way for him. There we go. And the next person across the line will be Jigsaw. But it's not going to be representative. So I believe he's ongoing for another lap now, at 2:04. Ooh, as Jason's had another spin. Probably trying to get out of the way of people on hot laps. As TJ's into the pits. Must not been happy with their lap. as Racing Meister goes P2 with a 1:45.3. So very good effort from Racing Meister there. And Deadwood is now on pole with a 45.1, also on the softs. Ooh, and Parallax has had a little bit of a moment, and has actually DNF'd on. Well, there's a lot of incidents going on at Radion, and Cobalt has had a spin at I believe it's Puan. It's called. I'm not too sure. I think it's called Puan, that corner. But he's going again, so it's all good. As Jason has retired from the session, as I was suspecting he was going to. Going very slowly across the line, and didn't come into the pits to change the wing. So there wasn't much he could have done, unless he wanted to do a whole nother lap. Which there is time for, but it appears he didn't want to. So he will most likely be starting last, based off of the time. As everyone, or some, are coming into the pits, like Maestro. And I believe the next to set a lap will be Carlo here, who as Blackwell has a little bit of a moment. And will be coming into the pits on this lap because he's almost out of fuel. So back to TJ Carlo on his hot lap. Let's go cinematic. Oh, he's not using any. He's not using any ERS. Oh, that's outlap. I'm dumb. Sorry. I was wondering why he wasn't using ERS, and then I realized it was outlap. Alright, so yeah, there he goes, turning up to mode 5. And here he goes. As T-Funky, pretty close behind, also starts his lap on the mediums, with Carlo on the softs. A purple first sector is promising. Looks looking very good so far. Looking like a very tidy lap so far. Let's see if he can keep it up. And the second sector split time is a 16.2. Oh, but he loses it just at the exit. And unfortunately that is his lap ruined there by that unfortunate spin. It would have been a provisional pole, but unfortunately he's going to have to give it another go. There's still time, 6.5 minutes or so left, so he can still get another run out. But the pressure's going to be on to get that perfect lap now, with just one attempt left. And into the pits he goes. Alright, so now on board with Ryder, the only other driver not to set a time yet. Ooh, a little bit loose. A little bit of oversteer there. And it's a purple second sector from Ryder. So it's not much of the lap to go now. So let's see what he can do. Into the bus stop chicane. Full throttle, and it's P5 with a 45.9 on the softs. Oh, we've got an incident. Oh, Sanka has been disqualified after somehow getting wedged in between. Wow. I've seen this happen before. Very unfortunate for Sanka. I'm not sure what position he was in, but it was definitely not last. And T-Funky's also been disqualified for getting stuck behind Sanka. And both of the qualifyings have been ruined now because of the very tricky pit entry to the pits. Yeah, like I've said before, I've seen that happen before, but it's never happened to me, so I'm not really sure how it happens. Maybe if you clip the wall, you get spun halfway, and then the car is longer than the pit is wide, so you can't like turn and like reverse and go forward out, and you just end up getting stuck, and yeah, that really must suck. So they'll be starting at the back today because of that. And here's Carlo on another set of softs, going for his final lap. This will be the last opportunity for him to get a lap in. First sector purple. Spun him his lap in the third sector at the same corner that Carlo did on his previous attempt. Will lock up, but still purple, so this is on course to be pole position if he can hook up the last sector. As Racing Maestro goes pole with a 44.9, so let's see if Carlo can be near that, or maybe surpass it. It's a 44.9 from Carlo, 21 milliseconds ahead of Maestro, and Now we go on board with Deadwood, who has just a purple second sector. So it's going to be very close. If Deadwood can improve, we'll probably have 3:44.9s, as that is probably the limit of how fast you can go around here on this particular day, unless Deadwood can do something magical. A 44.6 from Deadwood. Incredible time there on the softs. And yeah, Blackwell and Deadwood both retire, knowing that the end of the session is over. But yeah, incredible fight at the front there, as Jigsaw has unfortunately invalidated his lap. So we'll go on board with Cobalt. Oh, and he's not on a lap, I believe. I think he was just letting Maestro through. And I think Maestro is on an in lap as well. So let's go on with Colin, who is on a hot lap. As Carlo retires, pulling off to the side. Prep before Puan. And Cobalt has retired as well, as I believe Ryder is the final driver to who will be crossing the line. So it'll be Colin, Bazooka, and then Ryder. Now let's see what Colin can do. It's P7 with a 45.9, 20 milliseconds behind his Red Bull family teammate Ryder. And by Red Bull family, I mean Toro Rossos and Red Bulls. Alright, so next up is Bazooka Joe. Bazooka Joe and Ryder both... Oh, Ryder has invalidated his lap, so I believe he'll be at highest P6. But Bazooka can still potentially improve here. A 46.0 on the hards means that it's going to be a 44.5 on the softs, leaving him in pole position for the race. Very, very, very incredible times here. We've seen pretty close too. About a tenth between P1 and P2, and 20 milliseconds between P3 and P4. So it's going to be very close at the front today, as Ryder comes into the pits to end the qualifying session. All right. Alright, so the qualifying rundown is Bazooka Joe, Deadwood Bear, TJ Carlo, Racing Maestro, V Parallax, Blackwell, Ryder, Colin, Cobalt, Jigsaw Moto, Jason, making his debut, Hyper, T1, and T-Funky, and Sanka, if I can remember correctly. I didn't get to scroll all the way down, but I think Sanka was last because of the disqualification. Alright, so I would like to, or I'm going to be quiet during the formation lap, and I would like all the drivers to, if you're listening, and they've been told before, to keep the formation lap respectful and like non-contacty. Just be sure to keep it slow and in good formation, because we are paying our respects to Cobalt's mom, who passed away a few days ago, I believe. So we just want to pay our respects to her and to him and his whole family, and share our thoughts and prayers with them during what must be a horrible time for them. Alright. So during today's race, be sure to keep Cobalt and his family in your thoughts. As it appears, we have a glitched car on the grid. But here we go. So we have 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4, 5. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. And we've had, oh my god, we've had a calamitous start at the back with the glitched car. And Blackwell has been disqualified instantly as Bazooka Joe leads after the chaos that was that ran down to turn 1. Ooh, as I believe, both Alfa Romeos are losing it at the top of Radion, and we have a VSC, and rightfully so, as we also have, I believe, Carlo was impacted by that, I think, and Hyper Wars has left the session. I believe he was the other car involved in that, and Jigsaw has no front wing, so it's been a crazy start to this Belgian Grand Prix. And Jigsaw Moto has also left. And Cobalt has also left as well. Oh, I believe there might be a restart. Yeah, I think there's a restart. So yeah. So yeah, I assume that they're going to manually insert the grid positions, and then we'll just have just the race session from there. I think that's what will happen. Alright, so with that, I think I will leave, and I'll await the invite. Sorry, everybody, for, yeah, for that. Yeah, that was, I've seen that glitch happen before in a, like one of the highest leagues, and, it produced, some rage. Understandably so. Yeah, the game can be a little bit weird sometimes. So that's just a byproduct of maybe an oversight by the developers. And this will also mean that the top 10 qualifiers will no longer have to use their used tires that they used in qualifying, which means that everyone will be on a fresh set. Alright, so let's just await the invite. Maybe I've already gone it. Yep. Okay. But yeah, that was a chaotic start, wasn't it? That was crazy. Okay. So I believe whoever is entering the grid, you can look back on the stream, I believe, and you'll see the list. Unless you already know what the grid order is. But in the meantime, be sure to drink water. Ah, there we go. All right. So yeah, let's hope we don't have something like that happen again with the car facing sideways. Because yeah, that took out like 2 cars at the beginning. Then we had the Rouge accident. So there were like 4 or 5 DNFs before the first sector was done. And yeah, it wasn't really fair to the drivers affected because of a glitch. So a restart is probably the best thing to do. It's the only right thing. As I grab myself another water bottle, because my other one's empty. And I am back. Alright. So we should get going soon, I believe. Yep, everyone's starting already up. So yeah, so everything is being set back to what it was before, just to make sure there's no changes to what it was like before. Making sure it's as accurate as possible. And here we go. Alright, so like before on the formation lap, please keep it clean, and I will remain silent until the cars grid up. Well, actually, I don't think I think it's right going on into the race. Yes, and lights out, and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. Attempt number 2. Got some ghosting in the back. As Bazooka Joe leads into the first corner, Red Bull going wide. Both Red Bulls going wide. But I don't think any accidents of major caliber. Ooh, Red Bull getting pushed off into the grass. Carbon fiber. As everyone steams up a Rouge. Oh, huge accidents. Blackwell and Cobalt both DNFing at a Rouge. And we have a safety car right away. And Sanka with a 5-second penalty for collision with T-Funky. So all was well at the beginning, but now it's gone chaotic. So very unfortunate for Cobalt and Blackwell. Not even completing the first sector before chaos. So let's see during the safety car period. So Parallax is in a very good position on the hards in P4, with Sanka and P12 on the mediums, and everyone else is on the softs. And the best start was tied between Hyper and T1 up 4 spots, and the worst start was Blackwell down 8. With the top 3 being the only ones to keep their positions the same. Also, how many safety cars do you think we'll see throughout this race? Ooh, as we got some cars entering the pits already. A lot of cars entering the pits. Ooh, as Colin has a 5-second penalty for a collision with Sanka into the pit lane. As we might see some double stacking here. As I believe Hyper has a penalty. He's just sitting there. Yeah, he probably had a 5-second stop go. But yeah, crazy stuff to start this race. So we've got a bunch of people going on to the mediums from the softs. Everyone on softs who pit is now on the mediums. Except for Parallax, who's on the hards, but still goes to the mediums. And T1 has now gone to the hards, so probably looking to go to the end on that set. Let's just see what the PlayStation chat is up to, if anything. Alright, so I would imagine the safety car will be coming in this lap. As everyone is all in formation. So let's see, the bottom 6 have all stopped. And T1 has a penalty with Hyper for causing a collision. So there are some, just like last time in Abu Dhabi, there is some safety car incidents going on here. Maybe sudden acceleration or sudden braking, or maybe the safety car is just too slow. I don't know. But yeah, yesterday there was 4 or 5 safety cars, and there was a lot of emotions because of incidents happening during that during the SC periods. The collisions and such. So, alright, I think this will be the in lap for the safety car. So, let's just wait until then, as everyone is weaving or warming up their tires. So T-Funky currently in the best position relative to where he started, up 9, and with Blackwell still with the lowest, unfortunately, down 8. In terms of drivers still racing, TJ Carlo is down 5, and that's the worst currently on track. Ooh, very slow through the no-name corner. As Hyper has a 10-second penalty for extending track limits. I'm not even sure how that happened. Especially under safety car, that shouldn't be happening. That'll probably get removed by the stewards later on. I would definitely tell them to remove that, because there was definitely nothing gained by that. If anything, I think he actually lost the position. I'm not sure. Alright, so as the safety car comes in, this is where stuff is going to get real, because everyone's going to be going super slow, trying to back up the pack, and waiting for the safety car to come in. Alright, so we should be getting going in around a few seconds. As soon as the cars pass by the DRS detection zone for... oh, and they're already going. Just as they pass the DRS detection point for the first DRS zone. And it is green flag. Oh, as we got some chaos off of the restart. T-Funky with a penalty. Multiple side-by-sides. A little bit of contact at the first corner at La Source. Coming up a Rouge. And now DRS is not yet enabled until 3 laps after the safety car. And we got Sanko with no front wing having a moment at having an incident rather at a Rouge. Another yellow flag, this time in sector 2. I believe it is Deadwood who now has damage as well after a spin. And there's a VSC, another safety car on lap 4, but this one will be very short, so hopefully it'll go away soon and we can get racing again. But T-Funky currently up 10 positions, with Deadwood down 10. So very different races going on here within these first 4 laps. And I believe the VSC should be coming in shortly. And there we go. VSC is in, and we're back to green flag racing. Bazooka looking vulnerable on the run down to turn 1 for Ryder. Very close there. Side by side between T1 and Hyper. Hyper are getting that position as Deadwood and Senka both come into the pits for repairs. As Racing Maestro on Ryder. Or Ryder on Racing Maestro, I should say. And Ryder gets past. Ooh, the Mercedes and Ferrari going at it again. Ooh, nearly contact, but they keep it clean. Heading into the no-name corner, with Hyper coming out on top in this battle. Ooh, a car going wide. That's the Williams of Jigsaw, I believe. Going wide at Puan. With T-Funky and the Racing Maestro getting very close. Ooh, as we have a Haas, I believe that's Jason who has spun at the exit of Puan. So we've got a three-way battle here. Ooh, as that's T1, I believe, who has spun. And as they go side by side, T-Funky and Parallax into the bus stop chicane. A little bit of rubbing as Bazooka Joe goes fastest with a 48.8. So now in this four-way train, we're gonna have some DRS battles here. I believe DRS is enabled at this point. And yes, it is. That's a T-Funky and Parallax. Almost side by side. Hyper with a penalty. And here goes Jigsaw on. T-Funky goes wide and goes deep. And, ooh, almost loses it. And TJ Carlo has to take avoiding action. But this is a fantastic battle going on so far. So this train of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as Jigsaw and T-Funky make contact. But yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for the inside curb of Fuan, if any drivers are listening, because it's gonna, at least for me, it spins me every single time I touch it. So, especially if you're on a controller, it's very hard to correct the spin at that point, and then you'll probably end up losing it. But TJ Carlo on T-Funky, side by side into the bus stop. As Funky keeps the position. But let's see if Carlo can get it now. Goes to the inside of the source. Locks up. And T-Funky with the glorious cutback. And they're now side by side. Probably going to be side by side going up a Rouge. So let's go on board with T-Funky here. Ooh, as he just loses out to Carlo. Ooh, almost loses it through the high-speed chicane as well. Ready on. Sorry. As Maestro and Parallax are very close to each other. And T-Funky and Carlo nearly making contact. P3 all the way. As they all blast through Puan. And it's, oh, and a dummy move on Maestro by Jigsaw, but it results in contact. Not sure if they have damage or not, if either one has damage. It doesn't. Oh, Racing Maestro does have left hand damage, but I'm not sure if that's from the incident or from something before. I think Jigsaw is okay though. So now Maestro is going to be vulnerable from Carlo. Ooh, as T1 and Jason are battling it out. As Maestro comes into the pits. And this time Parallax is fastest with a 47.9. Oh, yellow flag in sector 1. I think that was Hyper, who does have damage. Pretty massive damage at that. I think he may have lost it at the top of Rouge. And I was trying to defend from Colin. But he goes wide, and Colin slips on through. Ooh, as Carlo and Jigsaw are very close to each other. Ooh, almost loses it. They're both using all of the curb on the exit of that corner. And now Carlo has a run on Jigsaw that makes contact. So a slight bump. Oh, bad camera angles. There we go. Almost side by side through Blanchemont. And Jigsaw's trying to get back at Carlo. Tries to go for the cutback. And then again. But can't get it done yet. Was Bazooka Joe pits. And T-Funky has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And now with DRS on Carlo, Jigsaw. Let's see if he can get it done. Not the slap. Carlo was a little bit too far in front. So currently it is Ryder who leads the Grand Prix with Parallax in second and Carlo in third. Then we have Jigsaw, T-Funky, Bazooka, Colin, Maestro, T1, Jason, Deadwood, Sanka, and Hyper, with the 2 DNFs being Blackwell and Cobalt. Ooh, as Carlos lost it on the Puan curb, I believe. That inside curb can be deadly in terms of people spinning. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. Let's see who that... I think that's Hyper. Who's had another moment at that corner. Ooh, as Ryder and Parallax are going side by side into the bus stop chicane. As Jigsaw Moto comes into the pits, relieving T-Funky of that battle. But now Ryder's going to have the DRS on Parallax as they come up, or as they go. Oh, and Hyper's retired from the session at the no-name corner. It's been a very unfortunate race for him, and it's a very unfortunate end. I believe Ryder had a little bit of a moment there, and lost some speed going up Rouge, because he's about 2 times as far back as he was at the bottom of the hill, and Hyper has left the session. So let's look at tire strategy and stops. So Ryder, T-Funky, and Jason haven't stopped yet, all being on the soft tires. Ooh, as Sanka's retired from the session at the Rouge/Radiant, and we have another safety car. So this is number 2. As Maestro has a penalty for multiple warnings, and Sanka has left. When T-Funky has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, that's going to be detrimental to his race, being in P3 right now. But Parallax is coming into the pits, as well as Ryder, and I believe most people will on worn tires. So the thing is, T-Funky's going to come in, but he's not going to be able to get serviced. So he's going to have to do another lap after losing time in the pit lane. If I believe because of the penalty, or maybe not. I don't know. Oh, maybe. Oh, I believe he has 3 laps to complete the drive-through. Once the safety car comes in, I believe, or maybe something like that. I just remembered, because yeah, he definitely got his tires changed. So maybe he'll serve the penalty later. All right, so let's hope for no more crashy underneath or behind the safety car. Alright. So now everyone is currently on the mediums. As Maestro gets a penalty for track limits, and so does Jason. So very unfortunate getting penalties underneath or behind the safety car. Must be very frustrating to have that happen, because yeah, there's no time gained by cutting a corner under SC because everyone has to line up anyway. As now T-Funky comes in to serve his penalty. It's quite a big penalty for such a probably a small speed infraction, but oh, as his tires get changed again. Okay, I'm a little bit confused here. I could have sworn it's a drive-through for T-Funky. Either there's a glitch going on, or maybe he didn't have a penalty after all. I'm not sure, because that's twice he's come in now to swap tires. And he was probably expecting the penalty to be served, but maybe the game forgot about it. Or you can only serve the drive-through when the safety car is not out. If so, that would be very horrible for him, because not only is he last now of the running cars, but he's going to lose another 20 seconds, or around 15 seconds, driving through the pit lane. And then there's only going to be 10 laps to go to make up those spots. So it's going to be very unfortunate for him if that's the case. So the safety car should be coming in this lap, or very soon, and we should get underway again, racing. Alright, so the safety car is coming in this lap. Oh, there's been an accident between Ryder and Parallax. And Ryder's been given a penalty for it. 5 seconds. As we're about to get going again. But the safety car isn't yet even past the bus stop yet, so they're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. As everyone is jostling for the best track position to get a good start off the restart. And we are green once again, third time this race. T1 has had an accident at the exit of the source, and Carlo has a penalty. Now everyone's going to be in a massive train as Bazooka Joe and Ryder are side by side. Almost wheel contact. But Bazooka Joe gets the spot. Ooh, as the Red Bull mounting the curbs there. As he has not, as the Red Bull of Maestro has a run on Colin. Ooh, on the limit there for Jigsaw and TJ. Some cars going wide and Racing Maestro almost losing it on the curb there. Ooh, as Jigsaw and Maestro make contact. But Jigsaw wants to keep it in there. Is trying, and oh, he gets half spun after contact with Maestro. And hits the wall. As we have Maestro and Colin, two Red Bulls side by side through Blanchimont. They keep it. Incredible stuff. Wheel banging all the way through. That was definitely the moment of the race so far. That was incredible stuff. And they're 2 by 2 heading down into the first corner once again. Or they were. Now they're a 4-way train. But that was incredible stuff. Incredible racing there. As T-Funky is into the pits again. And will now serve his penalty. So yeah, that was very unfortunate. That he couldn't serve it under the safety car, because he lost time for no reason there. As he's now fighting Jigsaw, going to be going up a Rouge, but T-Funky can seize the position there. US Carlo appears to have. No, he doesn't. Doesn't have damage. I thought he did. As Deadwood and Colin are going hard at it. Colin on much older mediums. The oldest tires on the grid right now. 12 laps old. So we'll see if Collins can go to the end. But everyone else's should pretty comfortably. As TJ gets past Colin. As Parallax is storming away in the front, 3.5 seconds already. After just 1 lap and after almost 2 laps of green light running. As Jason goes wide. Oh, and that's Racing Maestro out at a Rouge, and that's Colin almost collecting right into the side of him there. The two Red Bulls having a dreadful time at that corner of the slap. I believe T1 had to slow down, and everyone did, just to make sure they avoided the car there. And we have another VSC. And DRS has been enabled, and the VSC is in. Or VSC has gone away. That's T-Funky and T1. Side by side into Puan. T-Funky gets past. So all the gaps are over 1 second now, so we'll just have to wait until the gap closes up. But Colin's coming into the pits. I had to change the very old mediums now onto fresh softs, it appears. But after serving a penalty, 5 seconds I believe, yep, and is now onto the softs to go to the end. So let's see, it's currently a very good day for Parallax, up from 5th to 1st in the 16 laps, or 15 laps so far in this race. And he's just extending the gap lap by lap, so it's looking very comfortable for him right now. No commentator's curse intended, but it's looking good. Ooh, as Carlo almost loses it there. As Ryder has been given a penalty for multiple warnings. Out as the T1's going for a move on Jigsaw. Jigsaw goes a little bit wide as T1 gets onto the curb. Now Jigsaw has more ERS than T1, but T1 has DRS. But Jigsaw keeps the position. And the gap between P1 and P2 is now 5 seconds. Ooh, as T1 gets on the curb and goes very wide, slides out wide, and loses some time to Jigsaw, but thankfully keeps the car going. Because that could have been much worse. That could have been a full spin or a hit into the wall. As both of them go wide through there, that corner, which I forget the name of. So I seem to forget a lot of names, corner names. Ooh, as T1 gets onto the grass and gets into a spin and hits the wall back first. Thankfully, that's the best possible situation that they could have had there, because now no damage to the front wing. Both are now under threat from Colin into the chicane. And it's probably ruined their tires a little bit. So Colin on fresh softs versus T1 on moderately used mediums. T1 goes in and Colin goes wide as Jigsaw gets a penalty. And now Colin's going to be fancying a move up a Rouge on T1. And with DRS, this should be a fairly easy pass. And it is. Ooh, as T1 cuts back onto the racing line there. Thought he was going to clip Colin by accident. As T1 gets a penalty for track limits. So Parallax is now 6.8 seconds in front of Bazooka Joe. So quite a big lead out in front at the moment. As T-Funky goes on Jason and gets the move done, as I believe Jigsaw had a spin and has no front wing now. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, they're gonna have to pit for these last 3 upcoming laps. As Colin and T1 blast past. Oh, nope, T1 follows him into the pits. Probably trying to go for the fastest lap onto the softs. And just giving it everything for the last little bit. As Deadwood and Carlo are very close. Ooh, little taps of the wall for both of them. Now coming into Blanchemont, they should be very close, based on the current gap. Let's see, around 4 miles an hour more for the Toro Rosso than the Mercedes. Coming into the bus stop chicane, their gearbox, the front wing, a little bit of oversteer for Deadwood. Lets Carlo breathe a little bit. But with the DRS, Deadwood's gonna be fancying a move around the outside of turn 1, but can't make it move or can't make it stick yet. But the DRS straight heading into the corner after the Camel Straight, whatever it's called. The move will probably get done there. As here we go around the outside. But Carlo keeps it in. Ooh, and almost a little bit of a spin there from both of them as they make contact, wheel to side pod. Ooh, as Carlo goes wide. So now Carlo has around 30% more ERS than Deadwood does. So ERS modes are going to be crucial here coming into the second ERS zone. It's 35% versus 60%. Both on mode 2 right now. Oh, and mode 5 for Carlo. Coming up a Rouge. And with the DRS, this is going to be a fairly standard pass, it appears. And the move is done. But Deadwood is still right there. As Jigsaw Moto has a 3-second time penalty. And ooh, contact between Deadwood and Carlo. Let's see. I believe there's no damage. But Jigsaw Moto goes fastest with a 46.5. So now probably T1's probably going to be looking to beat that. and Colin as well, both being on the softs, or more fresh softs. And now we're on to the final lap as Parallax, the leader, begins his final lap. And things are gonna get very intense between these two here, Carlo and Deadwood Bear. So now it's Carlo has around 67% of ERS, and Bear has around 40. So let's see how so they're probably just gonna use it all in this final lap, as well as Rich Mix. So it's gonna be very interesting to see who comes out on top here at the end of the straight. Even though Bear has DRS, Carlo is in mode 5 of ERS, so they're gonna be side by side, and Bear gets it as Carlo loses it and spins. He had a couple of moments there where he lost it and caught it again, but then unfortunately it fell away from him, and he did a 360 there. So very unfortunate in regards to him and the battle. But that means that Deadwood is probably going to be securing P4 on track here. No commentator's curse. And speaking of commentator's curse, I guess me saying no commentator's curse worked for Parallax, because he's gonna come home in first place as he comes through the bus stop chicane. 11.5 seconds, nearly 11.4 seconds. Now 11.5 in front of Bazooka Joe. Crosses the line in P1. So amazing work to him. Next up. So first it's Parallax, then it's Bazooka Joe, and then Ryder, followed very closely by Deadwood Bear. But Deadwood Bear gets the podium because of penalties, because Ryder had a 5-second penalty that was unserved from before. That was probably meant for a pit stop, and that was being added to his. Carlo is 5th, T Funky is 6th. Jason is 7th on his debut, scoring 6 points. So a very good debut from Jason. T1 has a 3-second time penalty for warnings. As here comes Colin in P8. And now Jigsaw, as he outbreaks himself into the final bus stop, gets a penalty or 2, but it's going to be P9. And now we have T1. So all of our finishers, all of our race finishers scoring points today, so that's very good. And T1 crosses the line to complete the race. So yeah, that was 2 VSCs, 2 full safety cars. Quite a chaotic first lap on both of the starts, and some really good racing and side-by-side action. Had a few good moments there. So very good by everyone. So well done, good job, and yeah, congrats. So in P1 is Parallax, then Parallax, Bazooka Joe, Deadwood Bear, Ryder, TJ Carlo, T Funky, Jason, Colin, Jigsaw Moto, T1, Racing Maestro, Sanka, Hyper, Blackwell, and Cobalt. With 9 of our drivers getting penalties, and a lot probably a lot of incidents. Yes, quite a bit. Yeah. Hard racing and determination will result in a lot of penalties because they're always pushing, so that's just a sign of that. But yeah, that is another Rising Phoenix race complete. So I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to me, and I will hopefully see you all soon. So I'm not sure what the next race is, but it will be round 13. And yeah, we will all know what the next venue is quite soon. So once again, thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you, or whoever the commentator is, will see you. Whoa, was a bang. The commentator, whoever it is, will see you next Friday. So thank you all, and goodbye.